To those who by persevering in doing good seek for glory and honor and immortality, and here's our problem, eternal life. Wait a minute, by doing good and seeking for glory and working hard, that's how you get eternal life. So in considering the theological term eternal life, we need to understand what does it mean. So here we have our word, eternal and life. How is that described in the New Testament? Well, the term can be used to describe the quantity of time, right? Duration, a quantity of time. Or linear, as such it's seen as present, but mainly in the future. And it's also understood to be something that is given or is gifted. But this term can also be used to refer to more of a qualitative aspect, a qualitative idea. And that's a present time duration. As such, it involves the present and involves works and reward for such merit. So eternal life can seem to encompass both something like being justified that we possess, but it can also be in the idea of sanctification as eternal life that is experienced. So it can have both of these meanings. Lowell and Nida understand that the term can possess both aspects and elements of unending duration, as well as quantity and quality. Maybe this is what John had in mind in John 10, where he talks about having life and having it more abundantly. There are a number of passages, a number of texts that we could look at in terms of quantity. You've got Nicodemus, you've got the woman at the well, you have the all, and then you have the any who can receive eternal life. Perhaps as a gift, perhaps as the idea of being justified. But then you have a number of verses that don't seem to fit that category. And so maybe it's talking about a quality of eternal life, which is costly. It's not free. It's not a gift. It is something that's earned. Matthew 19. And everyone who has houses or brothers or sisters or fathers or mothers or children or farms for my name's sake, you've left those, will receive many times as much and will inherit eternal life. So if you've lost all this, you will inherit all of that. Doesn't sound like the conditions for becoming a Christian. John chapter 12. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. He who loves his life loses it. He who hates his life in this world will keep it to eternal life. If anyone serves me, he must follow me. And where I am, there my servant will be also. If anyone serves me, the Father will honor him. So Jesus is going to die in rendering his service for mankind and obeying his Father. His disciples come to Jesus and inform him that there are some Greeks who wish to meet with him. Jesus tells his disciples that he has other plans and informs them of some important theological truths. This message is similar to the theological truth in the text found in Luke 9 and Mark 8, Matthew 10 and 16, the idea of saving of the soul. In light of Matthew 16, Peter's role in that instruction, it's probable that this is the same truth that Peter had in mind in 1 Peter 1:9, the saving of the soul. The conditions in John 12 seem quite distinct from faith alone that is required to appropriate the free gift of eternal life, as in many passages in John. It includes not loving the joys of this life, and in reality, hating the pleasures of this life that it can bring. The result is to be honored by the Father for such a life of sacrifice. Hence, the concept of eternal life may have a qualitative aspect that is being considered. So it's not talking about the condition for becoming a Christian. It's talking to disciples about the condition of living as a disciple. Galatians 8. The one who is taught the word is to share all things with the one who teaches him. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. For the one who sows to his own flesh will from the flesh reap corruption, but the one who sows to the Spirit will from the Spirit reap eternal life. Let us not lose heart in doing good, for in due time we will reap if we do not grow weary. So then, while we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, and especially to those who are the household of the faith. So is this actually the condition for becoming a Christian, or is this talking about Christian life. Paul is instructing believers to sow so that they may reap. The result of reaping is the reception of eternal life if we don't grow weary. Sounds like perseverance of the saints terminology to me if you go in that direction. If seen from an Arminian view, then the loss is eternal life, heaven. If that's not possible on theological grounds based on exegesis of other passages, then it seems that Paul is guiding the church to do good work so they can reap eternal life as a quality now and later. There's no mention that they need to do it to prove they are saved, or if they do not, they will fail the future and final vindication of the great white throne. Finally, a couple of passages in Timothy. Fight the good fight of faith, take hold of the eternal life to which you were called, and you made the good confession in the presence of many witnesses. And then later he says, storing up for themselves a treasure of a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of that which is life indeed. He doesn't say eternal life there, but life indeed. Paul is exhorting Timothy, we know that, who is a pastor and a believer, and to seek eternal life. Hence it's hard to see that he's instructing Timothy to become a believer to gain eternal life. Quantity, he's actually exhorting him to pursue and live his life now, and that it will have great reward later. So it seems that as you look at, that's kind of dark, you can't see all that well, trust me. It seems like there are a couple of ways of interpreting, understanding eternal life. One is a qualitative, one is a quantitative. The scriptures in the New Testament seem to articulate both. So conclusion, eternal life can be understood as a gift one receives freely, or as a reward that we are to earn. So it can be a gift, it can be a reward, it can be taking place inside of a process. This is what Paul is talking about in verses 7 and following. To those who by perseverance in doing good seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. But to those who are selfish, or selfishly ambitious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, wrath and indignation.